Hello everyone. I know I'm late. I do apologize. It was not my intention to be late, but time seemed to have escaped me. So I sincerely apologize. Hello. Again, I do apologize for starting so late. Okay. Now that I have my notes pulled up and everything is in order, again, I look like a mess. I do apologize. Time escaped me today, so I do apologize again. I am going to start in and go ahead and get everything done and kind of situated. These notes will be in Google Classroom as well. So yeah, let's get into it. I don't see any comments, so I will quickly just pull that up as well. Just in case, because I don't want it to be just my phone and it's just not pulling up or something like that. Okay, yeah, so comments are just not showing up on my phone, but that's okay. Hi, Ronnie. Hi, Lindsay. Hi, Gina. Okay. So I will be switching on and off from my notes onto comments just to make sure I see everything in case anybody has any questions or comments. Just to be on the safe side. Okay. So, Green Witchcraft 101. Green Witchcraft 101. Green Witchcraft 101. Apologies, ladies. Okay, so these magical workers, such as myself and I am so sorry, I'm tongue twisted. Probably many others of our groups are green witches. So a lot of these magical workers are all about nature, healing, and nurturing. They draw their power or their tools and rituals from the earth and the great outdoors and use plants, flowers, and herbal preparations as a primary source of spell ingredients and ritual content. Green witches, such as myself, we respect nature above all else, along with many other things, although other types of witches work with nature as well. Normally, how the green witch starts is if you are drawn to the natural world and you have a gift for healing and soothing, and obviously enjoy gardening. Here, I'm going to switch you guys real quick. Okay. So if you enjoy gardening and tending to herbs and plants, you could be a green witch yourself. Or you could be a Celtic like a lot of our other practitioners in the group as well. The green witch normally embraces nature by drawing on the energies from the earth and all of the untamed things. Normally she or he communes with the land with stones and gems and relies on plants, flowers, and herbs. We also call to nature for guidance and respects for every living being. A couple of things that I've heard. Sorry. Yeah, so a lot of the time people kind of often what's the word? They don't think about the certain paths and how much actual, what is the word? I am so sorry, ladies. Similarities. Oh my goodness, I'm so sorry. Actually go with those certain paths. And there's like such a deep dive on each path too. So it can really get hard to kind of be like, I never considered, myself to be a hearth witch, but I do a lot of hearth witch things. Or I never, kind of related to the, the astrological path. But I tend to follow all the horoscopes and everything like that. So, it just really depends on who you are. Because a lot of the times, you won't really expect it until it kind of, not slaps you in the face, but kind of, like, proves to you, like, hey, I'm right here. At least that's how it is for me. But normally, the Green Witch is considered the true definition of nature relatedness. The Green Witch understands that Earth incorporates the planet and all living things upon it, including animals, plants, and people. We understand that humanity impacts the natural world not only by how we treat it, but also by the feelings and energies of certain individuals. It's likely the spiritual ancestress of modern Green Witches who choose to live apart from the center of community life. Though they may have made their homes on the edge of town, how much they would have preferred to make their homes in nature is above all. For it is harder to hear, especially in the modern era. It is harder to hear what the earth has to say when you are surrounded by the hustle and bustle of daily life. So, what is green witchcraft? Green witchcraft is the magic and wisdom of nature. And as a green witch, you learn to reconnect with those magical forces and live in harmony. And most of the time, in doing green witchcraft, you often are applying the elemental magic. You often apply the elemental magic in which which makes us use the 4 elements of nature. So you want to practice green witchcraft, if you want to. I'm so sorry, ladies. It has been one of those days. If you want to practice green witchcraft, here's what you need to know as a beginner. So, first things first, touching back on the elemental part, first we must understand how elemental magic works. In my practice, magic with nature is possible because every plant, rock, and animal has an elemental soul or consciousness of that creature. Elementals live in the 4th dimension of the etheric plane, so kind of like the spiritual plane. And many ancient cultures knew about these creatures as well. As we all know, they are called fairies, or they are called nymphs, or goblins, or dryads, or dwarfs, trolls, mermaids, sylphs, etc. They also reside on that elemental plane. They are normally invisible to the physical eye, physical eye. But you can often train yourself to see these creatures with some practice. When you perform magic with a plant, what makes the magic is not the physical part of the plant. It is often the elemental part of it. As a beginner in green witchcraft, again, ladies, these are just my personal preferences. There are many different ways that you can practice witchcraft. I'm just giving you mine. As a beginner in green witchcraft, in my practice, it is vital to understand that the principle and honor of life that resides in every living creature is essential. Normally, when I go fishing, or here hopefully soon, not too soon, I can get my hunting license to hunt with a bow and arrow. Although I'm having to put it off now, but normally what I like to do is, if I take a life, I will offer a piece of it back to Mother Gaia as a thank you for allowing me to take that essence away, if that makes sense. I hope that makes sense. If it does not make sense, I am so sorry, and I can always explain it in a different way. You're good, Ronnie. But normally that is how I do it. And it's same when I harvest a plant, or I go and pick strawberries or something like that. I always make sure I bring something, whether it's wildflower seeds or even if it's just praying to Mother Gaia to tell her thank you. I always do something kind of as an equal exchange, if that makes sense. But again, I honor life that resides in each and every living creature. And normally we set intentions as with any other type of magic. We do things like you normally would. So things for healing, things for motivation, whatever you choose, we normally make sure that it's for the greatest good. Now, a lot of the times, if I'm pushed to a certain limit, and I've done everything mundanely possible to get this person or thing to stop, and it does not work, I will not do things for the greater good. I, like many other of our lovely practitioners, will do what we need to in order to protect us and our own. So, but I know a lot of us practice on the lighter side of things, so I wanted to incorporate the greatest good part. For example, it's not okay to violate a person's free will or desire negative things for someone else. Again, if I am pushed to that point, I will go beyond that. But that is just me. Normally a significant part of the green path involves using natural energies in plants' life to archive one's magical or medicinal goals. Green witches infuse these energies into their daily lives to maintain equilibrium within themselves, others, and the universal flow of energy. So that's another part of like that equal exchange that I was telling you guys about. We also harness the energies to amplify intent within our rituals and spells. Mainly, green witchcraft focuses on 7 elemental energies that permeate everyday life, such as health, love, happiness, peace, harmony, protection, and abundance. Green witches are different from other types of witches because the magic they practice is natural and is a organic extension of our daily lives. It is constant. We view life itself as an all-encompassing magical encounter. The fundamental body of knowledge in a green witch is mainly magical lore based on the green environment. Green witches integrate the natural world's elements into their magical practice, spells, crafts, and applications. you may have heard the Green Witch tradition, which I know when I first started practicing, I did hear a lot that, well, you have to do it this way. Like, there's a whole tradition to it. There's this, there's that. But in reality, there's no formal tradition. There's no dedicated program of study. There's no initiates preparing you to be ordained in the green path. And again, that's just from my personal experience. But I say you don't have to do any of it. Green witches don't have any established rules or regulations, or even follow any type of dogmatic principles. So, like a set, straight, narrow path. Modern green witches, like myself, practice a mosaic of varying practices from different backgrounds. Since green witchcraft does not follow a formal approach, it normally tailors to the green witch's knowledge or to their particular circumstances. Normally we adopt other witches' practices and attend them according to our needs. So, green witchcraft is essentially a Celtic-based craft, if that makes a bit more sense. Since the practitioner's path is individualized, the various pieces of literature on green witchcraft are personal interpretations of their practice. There is no physical record of formal knowledge that needs to be passed down from future generations unless it is your own. There are no initiation rites or even sacred ceremonies for inclusion when it comes to green witchcraft, as I know a lot of our other paths do require certain things, but for a green witch, we do not. There are no established groups of elders to connect with either, unless you are in your own coven. Some Celtic branches of witchcraft may base their practices on the green witchcraft ideology, but these are far from what their green witch actually is. So a green witch may choose to pass on personal knowledge to another practitioner, but a lot of the times the main core concepts that you normally will see in a green witch is botany, herbalism, essential oil, preparations, and folk magic. Other than that, the green path is kind of self-explanatory. We just love to get out in nature. We love to, do things that help the earth grow. We, like I explained earlier, we normally tend to give equal exchange for the things that we take. And again, it just really all depends on you as a practitioner. That is all of my notes that I have for you lovely ladies. I hope it was informational, and kind of helps you better understand what a green witch is. I do have a couple of books that I pulled from my shelf. I have a bit more, but I can always post them later. But these are the books that I have that have helped me in my craft. They've helped me advance way beyond what I know now. The Green Witchcraft one from Paige was, I believe, the second book that I ever received when learning about the Green Path. And it has helped me tremendously. But this one will forever take the cherry on the cake. It was my very first green witchcraft book, and I adore it, and I will read it until the spine breaks. It is The Green Witch by Erin Murphy Hiscock. I know a lot of us probably have this book, but for those who don't, this is another great beginner book when learning about the green path as well. Oh, you're very welcome, Jen. You're welcome, Lindsay. This one is actually fairly new. It was gifted by a member in another group. I have yet to break into it, but I will read it because I've seen a lot of really good reviews on it. I think I got within the first 6 or 7 pages, and so far I enjoy it thoroughly. But this one is Herb Magic, an introduction to magical herbalism and spells. It's a pretty book. But this one, so far I do enjoy it, and it does have a couple of different things to kind of go off and things like that. And it also gives an introductory on how to dry your herbs, how to source them, and things like that. Oh, it is a pretty cover. It is a gorgeous cover. And then this one will always hold sentimental value to me because my husband got it for me when we first started dating. And it has been through the ringer, but I love it nonetheless, and I know a lot of us probably have this one too. The Encyclopedia of Magical Herbs. If you are looking to further your knowledge in herbology or anything like that, this book is a godsend. It has every single herb that you can think of in alphabetical order. It also describes which ones are poisonous, which ones you can use in the body, outside of the body. And then I have one more. I thought I grabbed it. I did not. Excuse me, ladies. I have this pretty one that is one of my favorites as well. And it is Botanical Curses and Poisons. I love my poisonous herbs. And if you know me, you know I love my poisonous herbs. Hi, Beth. This one particularly goes through in the entire history of poisonous herbs. It gives a little bit of information about them. It also has a bunch of spells. It has ways to utilize them in your practice. For example, this one also has little poems for each herb. So for example, Dragon's Blood Tree. Death on the gods of death, over the thrones of doom and blood, goeth God, that is the craftsman good, and gold and iron, earth and wood, loveth and labyrinth. And that is just for Dragon's Blood. There is a bunch of information in this book that I absolutely adore. And if you're a weirdo like me that likes mushrooms, it has an entire section for just mushrooms and things like that too. But ladies, does anybody have any questions before I pop off? Oh, Jen, which one, love? The Botanical Curses or the Herb Magic? Or any of them? Okay, well, while Jen is maybe typing, if anybody... Yes. Sorry, love. The Herb Magic, like I said, I have not gotten completely into it yet, but I am slowly incorporating that book into my daily schedule, and I enjoy it thus far. Ronnie says I have to replay. Oh, no problem, love. It'll be here forever, I promise. And the Botanical Curses and Poison, the Shadow Lives of Plants, that one is phenomenal. I've gotten halfway through it, and I've loved every bit of it, and I highly recommend, especially if you're going or beginning your journey into your poisonous side of herbs. As a child, my mother would teach me what herbs to identify were good and which ones were not. And ever since then, it just developed my passion for more poisonous things. But anyway, does anybody have any questions, or is there anything that they'd like to know about? I'm gonna give it a couple of seconds just in case. Okay, well, I do not see any comments yet, but if anybody has any questions, comments, or concerns, please feel free to either reach out, excuse me, feel free to reach out or even just comment on here and I will get back to you. But ladies, that is all I have for you. Have a lovely evening and I bid you a good night.